Hi, I'm Nick from Define Life, and I think a great morning routine is absolutely necessary to make the most of your day. I want to talk to you a little bit about that right now, describe what my morning routine looks like, and help you get some ideas about what you can do for your morning routine. So, if you're like me or how I was, you might wake up in the morning and run out of the house to get to work or school or wherever you might be going. Man, I was that guy that would hit snooze and snooze and snooze until the very last minute, until I went 8 minutes beyond the very last minute. I was out of bed at the last possible moment to the point where I skipped things. I didn't eat breakfast. I might not have ironed my clothes. I know I did not look my best walking out the door because I was not prepared. And if I didn't look my best, I was probably not real sharp in my head either because I was already frantic. I was already amped up to get out the door, get on the road, get to where I was going. And I was doing this my entire life. I was doing it on my way to high school. I was doing it on my way to work in the military. I was doing it when I was driving to college, and I did it when I was going to my job. And I guarantee I did not put my best foot forward. You can't. When you're distracted and you're hurried and you're not thinking straight because your adrenaline's pumping, all you're trying to do is get to work, and you're yelling at the people in front of you for slowing you down because you didn't think ahead, because you didn't prep your morning properly. I was there. I did it. And it's not until I changed my morning routine that I had amazing changes in my life just because I was thinking clearer. I was making major improvements throughout my day because I started off on the right foot. So, what does that look like these days? It might, for you, look like waking up a half an hour early. That might be all that needs to happen. For me, I bounced around a little bit. I started waking up at 4 in the morning thinking that that was going to be great and I could hit the ground running and work a lot before I even left the house. And what it ended up doing was wearing me out. I got burned out, and it had a negative impact on me. It negatively impacted how I handled situations, the temperament that I brought into a situation, probably my memory, but it just wasn't a good situation. So I had to figure it out. And what I figured out is this: I try to get to bed at 10 o'clock every night. That getting to bed at 10 o'clock gives me 6 to 7 hours of sleep to wake up in the morning. So now my goal is to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. I wake up, I bounce around my bedroom a little bit as I try to put my clothes on. A quick tip for you here is, especially if you're going to work out in the morning, lay your clothes out the night before right next to your bed, so all you have to do is put them on real quick and get going. It's a little keystone habit that makes everything else happen so much easier. I make myself a bulletproof coffee. I sit down and I fill in my Define My Day planner for about 10 minutes. And then after that, I go sit in the living room. And in the living room, I'll continue to drink my coffee and I'll open up my Headspace app and I will do 10 minutes of meditation. The topic might be different depending on what I'm interested in at the time. It could be focus, it could be happiness, appreciation, whatever that might be at that point in time. But I do a 10-minute meditation. And in that time, when I started meditating, it took a long time to get used to it. 5 minutes seemed like an eternity to me. Now 10 minutes goes by so fast. And I know I'm not even that good at it. I constantly am criticizing myself in my own head. But that 10 minutes really helps me clear my head. I can sometimes, my mind wanders and I think about what I planned in my Define My Day journal. And I sometimes grab some ideas. So if an idea pops into my head and it's good enough that I want to break my meditation because I don't believe I'll remember it afterward, or I might, something else might happen. I write it down in my journal and then I get back into the meditation. After that meditation, then I open either my Kindle or whatever book I'm reading at the current time, and I will try to read for a half an hour. As long as I've done things properly, I should still have about a half an hour to read. In my case, I take a pre-workout supplement, so I'll take a workout supplement before I start reading that starts kicking in while I'm reading, and then after I get my 30 minutes of reading in, I'm ready to go downstairs. And I go downstairs and do about 30-45 minutes of exercise. That might be too much for you. It might not be enough. It just depends on what you're used to. I recommend at least doing 15 minutes, and sometimes if you plan on doing 15 minutes, you can try to stretch yourself and get 25 to 30 in. So I do my workout, and then I come upstairs, and I grab a shower, get dressed, do what I need to do, and I have, at that point in time, about 15 minutes to hang out with my son before he gets on the school bus to go to school. So in that time, I have between 5 and about 7 o'clock to do a lot of things that are just very good for myself. I've read, I've meditated, I've planned out my day, I've exercised, and I didn't mention, but I eat breakfast after my workout also. So all of that stuff has happened in the first just about 2.5 hours of my morning, and then I can take a shower, calmly take a shower. I've also even integrated some habits into my shower routine. I have shower notes in my shower that are suction cupped to the side of the shower, and if any thoughts come into my head, I can write them down on the notes in my shower. I blast the cold water for about a minute afterward at the end of my shower so that I can get the blood flowing. There's a couple of health reasons for that, not something I'm going to get into right now, but I can get kind of that last juice in the morning. And then I integrated a habit of turning off the valve to the shower at the end of my shower, because my wife would go in, turn on the shower, and turn on the bathtub and get blasted in the top of the head with the shower, because I had a habit of not doing that. So it's part of my daily habits to make sure I turn that off to keep my wife happy. So after that, hang out with the kids, and then I am off to work. 8:15, I am doing what I need to do. I have my own routine as I get into work, but that sense of rhythm, doing that routine every morning, and I'll write it down here in the notes for this video, exactly what my schedule looks like, but that routine has really set me apart from who I was years ago. I wake up so much more calm, and by the time I go through that and get into work, my mind is clear. I have no adrenaline flowing. I have nothing else going on. I know I've handled everything that I need to handle, and I've set my intention for the day. I've already written down my priorities for the day, so I'm well aware of what I need to be doing first thing as I get to work. And it's a completely different experience. Now, where do you start with this? What's good for you? You don't have to follow my schedule, but what's good for you? Two places that I take a lot of input from. Number one is the Miracle Morning. I think that if you read the book, if you start developing your own plan based on the Miracle Morning, you will do incredibly well. I wish I would have found the book a lot earlier, because I really screwed around for years. I was even aware that the Miracle Morning existed. I just never read it. I thought I could figure it out on my own. If I would have read the book, I could have cheated and skipped 2 years of experimentation. So Miracle Mornings, start there if you really want to go in depth about how to create a morning routine. The other place is Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins' morning routine is pretty good. He goes into appreciation. He goes into his gratitude and what he has planned for the day. He gives he sends out good feelings of prayer to the people around him, people he's going to meet through the day, people in his family. It's a really good-hearted morning routine. He also has some exercise and some breathing routines built into it. One of the things that he does is that plunge pool, and I guess his plunge pool is it's in his backyard, and he can dunk his whole body in there, and it's 59 degrees. Not too many people can afford that, so I do the cold shower. But all of it, I think if it's good enough for him, as highly successful as he is, I think that those are the things that we want to follow. A lot of people get the idea that they don't need a routine like that they can overcompensate. They can compensate for that and make their day better in another way. And I think that way of thinking is wrong. I think that while we're all our own unique individual, I think we need to copy as much as we can from the people that are incredibly successful. So in my case, I look at somebody like Tony Robbins and I say, that guy's crazy successful. He's been doing this morning routine for years. He says it works, along with probably 100 other things he does throughout the day. I'm going to pick this thing and I'm going to work on this. And then maybe I'll grab some other stuff from other people that are highly successful or from him, and I will do that. So that's what I want for you, is to create yourself a great morning routine. But in doing that, I want you to do things that are not things that you might think of. Don't make the mistake that I made and screw around for a year or two, or maybe longer, trying to figure out a morning routine. Get a plan that works for you, and if you need to make some tweaks after doing it, fine. But when it starts yielding positive results, don't quit. Don't make too many changes that you lessen the positive impact because you've changed it to make it more comfortable. We want to get out of our comfort zone. We want to do the things that are not comfortable for us, because whatever situation you're in, there's probably a reason for you to improve it, or a way for you to improve it. And we improve it by being uncomfortable, by pushing ourselves a little bit more. And having a solid morning routine is how that starts in your day. So create that solid morning routine for yourself. Push your limits. Continue to push your limits when it becomes a little bit too comfortable for you. Maybe you need to change it up a little bit to kind of shock your system. Whatever needs to happen. But develop that routine, get down to it, and let me know in the notes how it works for you after you do it for about 30 days. All right, that's it. I hope this video helps you develop a better morning routine. Check out the notes here, and we will have my routine and links to the Miracle Morning and a link to Tony Robbins. Have a great one. Define your life and live fulfilled and happy. Take care.